Alright, so welcome back. And today we're going to be talking about connecting and connectors and the best way to just quickly connect to things. So there's going to be times when you want to connect to different boards. And like this is a very old Honeywell board. And usually if I'm working on that, it's like a repair or something like that. But then you're going to want a quick disconnect and then maybe to banana jack. And we'll talk about this a little bit more. But typically I don't like using QDs for like the lab and development. The banana jacks are a little bit more common. Right here we have a Picket 3 and we also have a ST-Link. And so Picket 3 will program your microchip. You can plug the Picket 3 right in. And I don't like doing that because then if you like twist or pull too hard, you could break the pins off and damage it. So typically I like to use a connector, a ribbon cable. But a lot of times these ribbon cables are very inexpensive. So we'll open up this treasure box. So here are a bunch of the connectors that I use a lot. So we'll start with these. So these are 2.54 millimeter header pins, so 0.1 inch, and they just kind of snap apart. So you can count out how many you want and then snap them. So I have different colors, you know, for power or something's just keeping your different sets of rows. You might have several rows on one board and you can keep them separate. And those work very good. And you can solder them, and then when you're done soldering, you can connect to them with a connector like this. As far as header pins go, you will want to make mating connectors to these. And so I have different size connector bodies. I call them connector bodies because they hold actual pins and sockets. So these are your pins, these are your sockets. And these connectors, they work very well. But the single pin ones I usually run out quickest. So what I found is that, like I showed you this one here, that's actually just heat shrink over the pins. So when you make these, you'll definitely need a crimpers like this. And the crimpers like this will allow you to strip the wire back, or you can strip the wire back and then you put the contact in there, the pin or the socket, and then you'll crimp down on it. These don't cost that much, like even for $20, $30. So the other connectors I like to use are banana jacks, more for power. So these are your sockets, and you can use them well with almost any of the connectors. The downside to these is these have a low melting point, and so if you pump a lot of current through them, they heat up, and then when they heat up, they can melt. So right here is a power supply that I had issues with. I was using it to power a device, about 10 amps, and the connector, you can actually see it kind of melted right here. It melted all around, and I'm not happy with that. So I don't know if these are actually a good solution, but they're very cost effective. But then I didn't have as much problem with the actual plug side. And if the yellow is going to come right out the back, such as in this case, then there's nowhere to really plug them into. Now you can technically try to plug them into the side. So you plug them in this way, but it has not worked very well for me. So instead I like using these. And sometimes they're called like gun style because they almost look like a gun, but they work well, and then you can stack them. And so if you have, you know, a multiple ones that you want to have all connected together, like a power supply or something, you can connect them all together this way. And then they're all the way down, they're connected. And then the wires come out the sides. Now, I actually am not very happy with these, so I said like I didn't want to use them anymore. So I'll pull this one off. Pull this one off. And I will replace it. Apparently I don't have a yellow one of those. Replace it with one of these. So maybe you can kind of see down there, but there's the screw and I'm backing it out. So now you can see all the way in further. And then I'll just shove this in there. And there's your screw. And tighten down. And now you have a good connection. So basically the wire's all the way into there, and then your screw comes down that way. So you have options of different types, different colors. So that way when you're programming with Pickets or ST-Links, You got all these boards, you'll have wires built up. And then I would also make some jumper wires. I just have a box from JLC. And in this box, it's just a mess of wires. But oftentimes you're gonna need these wires. Get some good connectors. Yeah, I said that these melt. These melt at a lower, the plastic melts at a lower temperature, but if it's not, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, it might be fine for your application. And then you can also use the same banana jack with, you know, like lab equipment. So let's say it's power supply. You can directly plug in. You could plug in directly to this meter and plug it right into your board. And then you can, oh, I'm gonna do something. So keep this in mind. Hopefully it helps, and see you next time.